Alright, this video is Lesson 4A, the push-off plate. Before we begin, you need to update your title block. This is the title, push-off plate, ortho and auxiliary. It's a new type of view we're going to learn, auxiliary view. And this will be drawing number Lesson 4A. After you do that, switch to the construction line layer. The snaps we're going to use this time are going to be endpoint, midpoint, center, quadrant, intersection, and perpendicular. We're going to be switching from ortho mode and polar tracking. When we do use polar tracking, right click on polar tracking and we'll be using what is 45 degrees. To start, pick the line command. We'll start at the top view and draw ourselves a rectangle. The length of this object will be greater than 4, but we'll start with 4. The depth of the object is 2, 4 again, and back to where we started. We would like a 1.5 inch space between views, and let's use what we have according to our handout of 3 7/16. This is where ortho will switch to polar tracking. You would move your mouse into the angle reaches a 45-degree angle line, which would be highlighted with a green dashed reference of 45 degrees. That's called polar tracking. Once we get that direction of 45 degrees, you could type in the distance of 2 1/16. If you notice you're too close to the border, we can move later. That'd be 1/2. We don't know how long this is yet, so we'll just cross or snap to here. It does not matter. Put the line command here, go down 0.5, come across, and you can either trim or grab this grip and move it to here. Let's use the move command to move this away from the edge if you need to do so. We will be centering the drawing later. Let's switch to the center line layer. We need to draw some features. In this case, a slot needs to be drawn here. So we need to first locate the center lines. Starting on this corner, point to the right. I like to turn ortho back on for these types of commands. 1 1/16. Go up. Hide the 1. To the right. 1 1/8. We need to draw center lines first because we always want to locate the centers of our holes before we draw any. Before you draw any holes, you need to indicate where your center lines are. Now that we've located the centers of those holes, switch back to the construction layer. We need to draw the auxiliary view. An auxiliary view shows you the true size of any feature that might be displayed at an angle. In other words, by displaying this view, the top view will not be its true size. Being that this is at an angle of 135 degrees, we need to display this view as an auxiliary, which is a secondary view to describe this surface that you can see its true size and shape. To do that, auxiliary views are 90 degrees from the surface in which it projects. For us, that would be an easy 45 degrees. So I look for 45 degrees and I'll extend out. We want our views to be a certain distance apart, so I'm going to type in 1.5 first, and then we'll draw the extension of this shape, which is a total of 2, which is the same as the depth of the part. Find that endpoint. 45 degrees in this direction will be some unknown length. At this point, it is not important to know what that length is. So we'll just extend in any direction at 45 degrees. Then, to find the end of the drawing, we will project a line from the front view, snapping it perpendicular in this case. So somewhere here will be our auxiliary view. The radius of this arc is going to be half the diameter of this depth, or radius of 1. So pick fillet, hit the down arrow, choose a radius, change the radius to 1, and hit enter. Select two objects to fillet or round these shapes. So pick this line and this line, and you're going to get part of that feature. Repeat the command. The radius is already set, so just pick the next two lines. Now we have part of our auxiliary view. With an arc, we now have a center point to draw the other hole. The hole is measured as a diameter, which means you need to switch from circle radius to circle diameter before you draw it. Hover over the edge of the line to look for the center. Snap to the center and type in a diameter of 3/4. We have two circles to draw up here with a radius of 5/16. So this time we'll pick radius, find one of the intersections of your two center lines, type in 5/16. Repeat the command and place the same size circle over here. With the line command, snap to quadrant of the circles on top and the circles on bottom. Using the trim command, pick trim, click enter to select everything on your screen, and then select the parts of the features you do not want, as you see here. We have some more fillets to include in our drawing with a radius of 1/4. Pick fillet, hit the down arrow on your keyboard to change the radius to 1/4, and now let's fillet. The command ends, repeat the command. The radius is as we said before. If you pick the red line, don't worry, you can remove the red line. Now this line needs to go away because this will become a breakout section, just as this one will be here. So we'll get rid of that. Let's do some more trimming. Erase lines that are not needed. Now it's time to project hidden lines from these views. Before we go any further, let's change our lines that we've been working on to the proper layer. These lines will move to the object layer. Remove any excess lines we no longer need. Hidden lines, make them current. Project lines down from your quadrants of your open slot in the part, as I'm doing here. For this, it's a little bit different. We don't have quadrants that are on either side of this feature. Because of that, so we'll switch to the centerline layer. Pick the line, make sure polar tracking is still on. With polar tracking on, I can grab the center and I still get my tracking lines, and I can click past that point for one of our center lines. Now that we have the center line here, we'll use the offset command to mark off the location of the hidden lines to the left and the right for the hole opening. So pick offset. A half of 3/4 of an inch is 3/8. So type in 3/8 for the offset distance. Pick your center lines and select above. Repeat the center line and select below. And now the line has been offset the same as the radius of this hole. Enter the command to finish. Select these two lines and switch them to the hidden line layer to make them hidden lines. Let's continue our drawing. Let's stretch our center lines across to the front view from the top view. We have now located where our hidden lines, center lines, object lines for the drawing are going to be. Let's pick the trim command, hit enter. Let's remove that which we do not need. This center line will go away using the erase command and so on. Here we do need center lines.